The hallmarks of a weak and failing presidency circling the drain of history in the first 75 days? You are threatened and intimidated by the 84-year-old ex-president of Costa Rica, who's a self-proclaimed pacifist and a Nobel Prize winner, Oscar Arias, because you don't like the fact that he's criticized your being an emperor or a wannabe Roman emperor. And so you had Marco Rubio in order to try to continue to pressure the current government of Costa Rica to align them with American interest under bullying tactics. You had Marco Rubio revoke his visa to travel to the United States. What is it with Donald Trump and ex-presidents in this country and in other countries? His favorite pastime, no, not the $30 million of taxpayer dollars spent golfing. His favorite pastime, I thought, was undermining the rule of law and wrecking our democracy. No, he wants to export that to other countries and take on other former presidents. It's not enough to go after Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton or any other former president. He's got to now take it on the road. It's like a road show and attack democracy wherever he can find it. I'm Michael Popok. We support democracy right here on the MeidasTouch network. Let's talk about the sad tale of what's happening to Oscar Arias, one of the most popular presidents in that region in Costa Rica and in all of Central and South America and the Caribbean islands. So popular that not only was he president in 1986 to 1990, but he got reelected in 2006 to 2010. Now, he was instrumental, much like Nixon was in our country, in opening the path between Costa Rica and China. I've talked about how China is ready, willing, and able to step into the vacuum created by the Trump administration pulling America out of the world economy, the world humanitarian aid, and the rest. If you create a vacuum, a space abhors a vacuum, nature abhors a vacuum, the vacuum is going to be filled. And it's being filled with Russian and Chinese that are rushing in to build the infrastructure that we've ignored or won't invest in countries like Costa Rica. We're a little late to the dance. So Marco Rubio goes down in February and says to the current president, Chavez, we'll support you on 5G, bringing 5G service to the island, but you need to reject the Chinese. Well, look, I'm all about rejecting Chinese technology if it makes sense. But if you're in a region where you've been ignored and you need infrastructure critically, I mean, apparently 100 million cyber attacks a year in Costa Rica. I mean, it's just crazy. If you want to secure your infrastructure, part of me thinks, what are you trying to do? You're trying to get Starlink and Elon Musk a new contract for Costa Rica. But in order to pressure Chavez, you can tell there was a deal. The deal was, I have a lot of former presidents, and one in particular named Oscar Arias, who's trying to undermine my relationship with the U.S. right now and my willingness to bend over for the U.S. right now. What can you do about it? So Marco Rubio goes down on the 2nd of February down to Costa Rica and basically, because they met before, basically makes a public promise to go after, on behalf of Chavez, the president of Costa Rica, his quote unquote enemies. Oh, I just completed what could have been a logistical nightmare and grounds for a divorce in most states, moving my family, including a baby, wife, cars, dog, and 14,000 pounds of personal belongings, 2,000 miles to our new home in 7 days, including driving our dog to the new home with the best man from my wedding. Without many months of planning to make this run easy and time efficient, this could have been an epic fail. Creating a trust and will is a very slow and time-consuming process, leaving you less time for more important tasks. Trust and will makes creating your will easy and time efficient, meaning you can focus on other important tasks. Get 10% off at trustandwill.com/legalaf. Trust and Will takes the scary out of the process, and its simple to use website and straightforward process makes it easy for me to recommend it to people close to me who have it all going on, except when it comes to their will or trust. And that's my gift to them for turning them on to Trust and Will. Peace of mind, knowing that they are taking care of a big part of their future planning and taking care of their loved ones. Each will or trust is state-specific, legally valid, and customized to your needs, like care wishes, nomination guardians, final arrangements, and power of attorney. Ensure your family and loved ones avoid lengthy, expensive legal proceedings or the state deciding what happens to your assets. Their simple step-by-step process guides you from start to finish, one question at a time. Save loved ones time and stress by having all your documents in one place with bank-level encryption. And live customer support is available through phone, chat, and email, used by hundreds of thousands of families and counting. Uncomplicate the process with Trust and Will. Protect what matters most in minutes at trustandwill.com/legalaf and get 10% off plus free shipping. That's 10% off and free shipping at trustandwill.com/legalaf. You know what I call enemies in a democratic political system? Other voices, other leaders. I don't know what their constitutional rights to First Amendment are down there, but we don't jail our former presidents yet, do we? So Marco Rubio spends time during his press conference basically sending out a veiled threat to people like Oscar Arias. Let me play the clip.
I think it's also important to understand that oftentimes, unfortunately, when you confront elements such as these, there are efforts to undermine your institutions by individuals in the government that should be working in the national interest, but instead have found, for some reason, to become complicit with malign actors. And so we're going to try to work in cooperation with you to impose costs on those within the country who use their positions of authority to undermine the interests of the people of Costa Rica and in favor of a malign foreign actor.
There. Okay. Now, right on the heels of that, or the timeline, you've got Oscar Arias, who's not going to be bullied by little Marco. And he comes out and says, I hope that my country does not capitulate. It's very hard when you're under a pressure campaign from the United States for a little country. Stand tall, especially when that country is led by somebody acting like a Roman emperor. They didn't like the Roman emperor part. So right after that, Donald Trump decided he's not just interested in silencing the voices of Americans in the marketplace of ideas here in our constitutional democracy. Let's export that and take that on the road. Let's go after and beat up and get and threaten and pull the visa from President Arias so he can't come to the United States. But that just shows you how weak and vindictive Donald Trump is, which is not a strength, it's a weakness. And everybody and all of his enemies know it. The fact that he was intimidated by an aging, pacifist former president from Costa Rica, what does that tell you about the state of affairs and the state of the person's brain? He's busy going after former presidents here, Donald Trump. He's got his current U.S. attorney for D.C. looking through Joe Biden's pardons to figure out whether they were signed appropriately, or whether people can be prosecuted over the pardons. While at the same time, Trump is busy pardoning all his fellow business fraudsters, all in the last week. You don't think the Biden pardon story isn't all about a distraction from the pardons that Donald Trump is making right now? But I think this is a indicia of this deep, dark psychosis of Donald Trump that doesn't help the American people one whit. You have not been improved 1 ounce by Donald Trump trying to beat the crap out of former president of Costa Rica, Oscar Arias. And yet this consumes him. He wastes our resources. He wastes our time. He wastes our money doing these things. In addition to his $30 million so far wasted on golf games. At this rate, this will be a $100 million or more a year golf game for Donald Trump at the taxpayer's expense. I'm going to continue to follow all of it. I do it in a couple of places. I do it here on the MeidasTouch network with regular hot takes at the intersection of law and politics. Let's say 15, 20 hot takes a week. But I also have this other channel called Legal AF MTN for the MeidasTouch Network. We do it in collaboration, but I curate it at the intersection of law and politics. And that is the hottest intersection you can find right now. And so what I want you to do, if you like what we're doing here, if you like this kind of content, subscribe to the Legal AF podcast, but come on over to the Legal AF YouTube channel. It is so important as we gear up for Hands Off Saturday that we speak truth to each other. It starts here, the MeidasTouch Network, and on Legal AF MTN. So join me there. So until my next reporting, I'm Michael Popok. In collaboration with the MeidasTouch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories, the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.